All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about how many coverages do you carry, or how many coverages do you need, or why would you need different coverages, right? So this time of year, I get guys ask me questions all the time, defensive coordinators, how many coverages do you play? How many do you try to run? How many do you try to install in camp? All right, and you know, I'm going to try and go through all that and give you the reasons why you would carry, if not different coverages, then some different components to each coverage based on what you are seeing. All right, make sure you check out some of our partners' GameStrat sideline replay system that we use. I've used it for the last 5 or 6 years now at every school that I've been at the last 6 years. Highly reliable, highly affordable. They've got some great deals going on. They're now going to be partnered up in college football now that it's become legal in some of those conferences. They're going to be working with college football teams. So if you're looking for an extremely solid product that is affordable for high schools and it has great customer support, make sure you check out the guys at GameStrat. Dome Hats, headwear company that we use at Play Fast Football, also with Bishop Kenny High School since 2006, I believe. Every high school that I have been at, we have used Dome Hats. I was one of the first customers of theirs, going way back to 2006 when the company started. Completely customizable, anything you want, anything you need. This is the newest version of the P2 Performance Cap. Play Fast with new red, white, and black colors. So we've got Play Fast with the logo on the front, Dome logo on the side. This one is snapback. So if you want customizable, if you want to build your brand, if you want to get your brand, your team, your logo, whatever it is out there, make sure you check out Dome Hats, because stock hats suck. Baker Sports Company we use for some of our coaching shirts, our coaching apparel, our game night apparel. Uniforms are distributed by Baker Sports. A lot of the things we do with our football program come from Baker Sports, so make sure you check out those guys. Fly Route Drones, all right, the eye in the sky does not lie. They are #1 in drones for athletics in the country. They do a phenomenal job. Drone is the best teaching angle, in my opinion. All right, so if you want to look into incorporating drones into your practices or your 7-on-7s, your summer work, your games, whatever it may be, make sure you check those guys out, flyroute.com. And if you use the promo code PlayFast, you can get 20% off your online training for whoever needs their training to fly the drone. So make sure you check those guys out, flyroute.com. Brandtek USA, all right, company located in Wisconsin, made me custom sneakers, some custom Play Fast gear, sublimation that they do, completely customizable. You could have coaching sneakers for your staff. You could have, your team could get customized Crocs. You can get flip-flops. You can get anything you want. They do it completely customizable. They do custom mouthpieces. They're also in, the disinfectant sanitary business. They've got a spray Sports Fresh that is great for your weight rooms. It's great for your locker rooms, your equipment rooms, trying to get rid of some of those things, the staff, the MRSA, the different things that might be there to, all right, keep your kids safe. They also have fundraising platforms that they use, and then they also distribute Q-Collar, just Swiss Army knife of a company. Make sure you check out the guys at Brandtek. DifferenceUSA, ultimate striking machine. You get thousands of reps without needing a partner. They hook up right in your weight room to the racks you already have, so make sure you check out DifferenceUSA. And then Modern Football Technology, all right, which is basically a program that is allowing you to enhance your self-scout and opponent tendencies. You are making your staff 100 times more productive in-game. You're saving yourself 8 to 10 hours of tagging each week. And once you have the system set up and once you have things inputted, you are going to get real-time analytics so you can make in-game play calling adjustments that much quicker. Instead of waiting till halftime and running the numbers, you can see the numbers drive to drive right then and there. What are they doing to us? What personnel are they using? What are we calling? What's working? What's not working? So in-game, not only your own self-scout, but what is the opponent doing? What are they doing that's really good? What are they doing that is hurting us? How are we trying to defend that? So you can help yourself and your staff become more productive. In-game adjustments, real-time analytics. Check out Modern Football if you can get online and check them out at teammofo.com. They're also at ModernFB on Twitter. So check those guys out. Try and get a demo. Talk to somebody. Tell them you saw it on a video with PlayFast, or tell them that PlayFast sent you, and those guys will hook you up. Check it out. It is a complete game changer. It's being used by colleges, a couple teams in Canada. It is going to be more production for your staff, but it's also going to make you a better play caller in game. I guarantee it. All right, so this time of year I get questions from guys all the time. How many coverages do I need? How many coverages are you installing? How many coverages do you carry week to week? And my answer would be, based on the system that you run, okay, it's number one, how many coverages can your kids handle? Because there's been years where we've carried 2 coverages because that's all we could play. But number two, to me, it's all about what answers do you need within the system that you use, right? So I've got 2 split receivers drawn up, 2 removed right now, right? Something you're going to see every level of football. Everybody's going to defend it at some point. For us in high school, we see it probably more than we see tight end flanker or tight end sets. So if we were facing 2 removed, and everybody that follows these videos knows that we're a quarters toolbox team, right? If we start in our base 2 read, all right, palms coverage, all right, the things that we're going to have to look at is how do we protect our base palms coverage, okay? What are the issues that we're going to have? So the first thing you need to understand is we've got a nickel with inside leverage. So any perimeter run with the nickel being blocked, our safety is going to have to make a bunch of tackles in space. Do we have that guy? Can we get that done? Can he get there quick enough, and can he make those tackles? Okay, number 2, really weak to the field side flats. Do they have a guy that can throw the ball out there? Are they willing to throw the ball out there? Right? So you get really weak, all right, to the weak side flats. Number 3, you've only got 2 underneath defenders. You feel really good about verticals, but if they put 3 routes, stick spacing concepts underneath, you only have 2 underneath defenders, right? So if this is our base coverage, we have to have adjustments or variations to that coverage that are going to help us, right? So one of the first things we do, okay, is we also have the ability to play more of a quarters deal from this, where the nickel would be outside of 2, the safety would be a little bit further inside of 2, all right, and now the corner would be playing, all right, mod technique on number 1. Usually we play it from off inside, all right, mod technique, which means, to me, man on deep routes, anything that is under or short early in the down, just go ahead and zone the quarter, right? So what we've done is we've changed the leverage, so now we're outside of 2, so perimeter run game, we should be able to turn back inside to our safety. So now our safety is still coming from depth, but now the ball is getting turned back into him, so I think that's a little bit easier for him to make that tackle in space there than it is out there. All right, now the ball will go vertical a little bit quicker, right, which is why we don't choose to play that as a base concept. We're kind of losing that nickel Sam in our inside run fits, okay, but we're gaining leverage in the run game, and we're gaining a little bit quicker help in the field side flats, all right, but we're losing, all right, or we're giving a little bit bigger window, maybe to 2 on the stick or the hitch route, right? So what we've done is we protected our base coverage, all right, we protected our base coverage by changing the leverage in our 2 high structure. We haven't gone to a completely different pattern match. We haven't gone, all right, to a rip Liz deal or a middle of the field close deal. We've just changed the leverage, and by going from you know, palms of 2 read to more of a quarters concept, we've changed the leverage on 2. We've changed how we handle 2 to the flat. So I think I've changed the leverage in the run game. I've given a little more body presence to the field side flats underneath number 1, right? So a lot of times in palms, we see 4 verts that converts back down to the comeback. If they have a quarterback that can make that throw, really tough to defend. This body makes that window a little bit different, right? So now the more the throws might progress their way to number 2. I've changed the leverage in the run game, all right? And I've changed how I handle 2 to the flat. So when I'm playing 2 read, the corner has 2 to the flat, but now when I play a quarters version, the Sam has 2 to the flat, right? So we've made a couple changes, variations, all right? Is it a different, to me, yes, I still think that's a different coverage, right? I think it's a variation. So to me, palms is a variation of a quarters toolbox. It's how quarters toolbox teams that didn't like the Sam or nickel being outside of 2, they didn't like that, so they moved them inside and changed how they played 2 to the flat, right? You got some of your, some of your quarters-based teams, or your red quarters, or whatever you want to call it. Your matching quarters teams, whatever the terminology is, where the safety plays 2 up and out. Okay, however you want to do that, there's that coverage as well. But I've changed the leverage of the coverage. I've changed some of the responsibilities so that I can protect some of the things that palms can't. Now, in this coverage, what am I still, all right, what am I still kind of in trouble versus? Well, any spacing with 3 under versus my 2 under defenders is going to give me an issue, right? So any spacing concepts where they put 3 on 2 is going to give me a little bit of an issue, because technically both of those coverages, I only have 2 underneath defenders, right? So the very next thing we would be able to do All right, for me, and this is just, again, my thought process logically. I went from palms to quarters. All right, I changed the leverage on 2. I changed who is responsible for 2 to the flat. I changed leverage in the run game. All right, and to me, the next component is I would carry some type of cover 2 version to where now I can get 3 underneath defenders. So I would carry some type of spot drop cover 2 component where now the corner is the flat player, the Sam can hang in the curl, and the Mike can hang in the hook. Well, what that does is that gives me the ability to match or play 3 underneath routes. So now when I get into that coverage, okay, I now have the ability with 3 underneath droppers to better handle 3 underneath spacing routes. Okay, now they still have inside, I still have my Sam inside leverage to be blocked by the number 2. My corner is the support player, so do I like the ball in the middle of the field or to the field? Can my corner support runs? That's going to be question number 1. And now in this setting, if we don't do a good job of rerouting and sending routes where we want, I don't feel anywhere as good versus 2 verticals like I do in palms or quarters. Right? So this is going to give me more underneath defenders. It's going to take away some of the quick throws to number 1 in the field side flat. It's going to allow me to play spacing concepts and stick and some of the other deals, snag and spot and all the deals that you get in the spacing world. It's going to allow me to defend that, but it's going to take my force game run player further removed, and it's going to make 2 verticals a little bit of an issue. So to me, what I like to do is I like to carry variations that have some answers to change up the looks for the quarterback and the coordinator, and then piece by piece, week by week, depending on what they do I need to carry all of those? Can I carry 1 or 2 of them? But the bottom line is I like to carry for us in our quarters toolbox things that are going to answer the issues that we have. I don't like to carry coverages just to say we play 9 coverages. I like our guys to have a toolbox of things that says, hey, it starts, all right, so when we come out day 1, it starts. All right, so it starts every day. It starts in 2 read, palms, however you want to look at it, right? That's how we base everything. And then if we start to get hurt, run game perimeter, field side flats, first adjustment we can make. If we can handle inside runs in the boxes, we can play it in more of a quarters deal and put the Sam outside. We're getting hurt with underneath quick game. We're getting hurt with spacing concepts. All right, we've got the cover 2 component that we can play. So really I'm trying to give my kids a toolbox to answer the things that we need to answer, right? So I'm trying to carry as many things as I need to change how the offense is attacking. So if they're getting runs to the perimeter and my safety isn't making those tackles, then I need to change the leverage on number 2. If I change the leverage on number 2 and I can't support runs in the box, all right, in order for me to change the leverage on 2 and gain a defender, I might have to spot drop and not pattern match and go to more of a cover 2 old school jam funnel sink technique by the corner. Well, now I don't feel good against verticals, so now I better really jam funnel sink and deliver 1 inside, and I better reroute and wall 2 so I can deliver those 2 routes to the safety because I really don't feel good against those verticals, right? So to me, it's not so much how many coverages, it's within your package, what answers do you have to defend the things they do that can beat your base coverages, right? So we're a base split field quarters toolbox team. I only need to carry the answers I think help me defend the things that attack my split field coverages, right? When I look at 3x1, okay, when I look at 3x1 stuff, all right, so if you were looking at just generic 3x1 stuff, not even looking at 4 strong yet, all right, if my base deal is some version of stubby, what I call mixed coverage. So if my base deal is X out man on 1, all right, let's say a nickel and a safety playing palms off 2 and 3, and then a Mike linebacker that assumes the underneath, all right, version of all right, for us, the underneath version of the coverage. So for us, if we had another backer that was there and an inside backer, we're still trying to create 4 over 3. So if the back was involved on that side, all right, in the 2 read palms world, I'm trying to create 4 over 3. And I'm trying to create 4 over 3 in a means where our guys are playing things that are very similar and simple to them. So this is essentially Palm's rules on number 2 and 3. That's really all we're doing. is we're playing palms off of number 2 and 3. Now, we're doing it with a safety, so part of our everyday teaching, we have to have safeties involved in playing palms technique, all right, how to read palms, how we make our exchanges in our pattern match stuff, right? So we've got to teach that, but we're essentially playing 4/3 2-read defense, right? So when that starts as my 3-by-1 deal, okay, one of the first things that I got to figure out is, what am I going to do when their best player is their number 2 that's isolating, all right, my Sam Nickelbacker, safety, whoever that may be, isolating our Sam Nickelbacker? Can I handle that, right? Can I handle that? Am I going to be able to handle, okay, how am I going to be able, or how am I going to handle if they took, okay, if they took, let's say, you know, if they were to go double under, maybe fin by 3, all right, can I handle, is the safety okay with the corner by 3? Yeah, I think he's pretty good. We need to be able to defend that route. But maybe they're doing something where they're running more snag corner stuff, and maybe they're going with the snag, pushing 3 to the flat, all right, and trying to force my $ Sam, nickel, whoever you want to call it, they're trying to force him to come down to the flat, and they're trying to make it a longer run for my over-the-top safety on the do-it call to get over, all right, where number 2 is, right? So that if the Sam came off on 3 and the safety had to go to 2, like traditional 2-read cover, palms 2-read is played, can he get to that, right? Are we going to be able to defend that? So if I start with that as my deal, the first reason I would start with that as my deal is because to the backside now, I can play all of my bracket deals. If they got 4 strong, I still have a corner and I have a safety, so I can play 2 for 1 on the backside, right? I can play 2 for 1 on the backside. So the first thing I need to think about is I need a coverage that is going to make me stronger to the trips theories that I'm seeing, okay? So if my next adjustment off of that was maybe some type of spot drop, clouded free kick, or some type of coverage where if I had to go with the corner down where the nickel can stay more in the curl window, all right, let's say the Mike's there, well now I probably need to borrow the backside safety to come play the middle if I'm spinning him that way, right? So if I wanted to play like a 3 cloud or a 3 kick and now say, look, we've got 3 underneath defenders, feel like we're better versus spacing concepts, all right? They can't get the 2 vertical isolated, all right, on one of my safeties based on the pattern match rules. All right, I feel like I'm helping that safety with the vertical of 2, with the backside safety coming over and giving them presence. I feel like we're changing the look on number 1 with a jam funnel sink corner playing a cover 2 or clouded concept, right? So we've rolled to the trips. Well, now what's going to happen is you're going to end up being man-to-man on the backside, right? So now what's going to end up happening is you force yourself into a world where you're man on the back and you're man with the corner, right? So I look at it in terms of saying, okay, look, if it's 3-by-1, let's get us a deal that's good to the trips. Okay, so let's get us a deal that we like, all right, that is good to the trips passing game that we're seeing. All right, so what passes are we seeing? And then let's get us a deal that's really good to the single runs and passes, because that's where everybody in high school is going to make their living. Right? So to me, when people ask about coverages at 3-by-1, I'd say you need at least 2. Okay? I think you need at least 2, because if you live in a world where you're split field, middle of the field open, quarters-based toolbox, and you have 1 trips adjustment, and that trips adjustment involves poaching with the backside safety, well, now you're going to have some issues versus empty. You're going to have issues versus a really good number 1, single side runs, right? So if that's your deal, then you need something else that you can play to that side that doesn't involve your backside safety, okay? Simply because you want to be able to play, to me, if it's 3-by-1, and guys say, hey, how many 3-by-1 adjustments do I need? I would say in your base coverage world, you need at least that number. Because I need something that's good to the trips, and I need something that's good to the single. And it's hard to find coverages that do both. So when we start off in our mixed stubby world, all right, there's a lot of things that we like on the trip side, and we really love the single side. But there's also a lot of things they can do to the trip side to beat up stubby, all right? And most of your good offensive coordinators, they're going to beat the stubby side up before they beat the single side up because they know you're extra on the single, right? So they're going to do things, either run game or passing game concepts, pattern match concepts, or they're going to get the matchups they want to stubby. So it's hard to live entirely in that world, even though it feels kind of safe, because good offensive coordinators, quarterbacks, are going to pick the stubby side apart. So then you need an adjustment off stubby that can take care of all the weaknesses that stubby has, but then you're probably going to make yourself weak on the backside. So I would say you need at least 2 3-by-1 coverages, okay? At least 2 3-by-1 coverages when you're talking about if you had to put a number on it and say how many. Well, 3-by-1 checks or adjustments, all right, you got to kind of categorize it. Is it a coverage, or is it a full coverage, or is it a coverage and then an adjustment? So like 3-by-1, I think you need to carry at least 2 deals. Now, keep in mind, you've got, if you have man deals, or if you have man-free pressures, or you have zone pressures, all of those are also going to be a different way that you handle formations. So those technically become different coverages, right? So if you are a 3 under 3 deep team, all right, and maybe your match carry deliver 3 under 3 deep, however you do it, in your fire zone package, that is another coverage technically. If you're 4 under 2 deep, send in 5, that is another coverage. If you play one rat, low hole, high hole, all right, or whatever you want to call it, however you want to call that coverage. If you're playing some type of man deal with a low hole, high hole player, that is another coverage, right? If you send pressures that are man-free, that is another coverage. So when you start thinking about coverages, you've got all these coverages that happen behind pressures, okay, right? So if you were to pressure and say, hey, behind our pressures, we play 3 under 3, right? So we play 3 under 3, we play 4 under 2, and let's say we play 2 under 3 hot coverage. All right, well, technically, guess what? There may be some same as, there may be some carryover. Those are technically 3 coverages as well. So those got to get tied into how many coverages, all right, you can carry. So to me, it's more about understanding variations, right, that can possibly help me change some leverage up, where I can get as much carryover into concepts as I possibly can, so that I can eliminate the total number of coverages we would have to play. Because you got to keep your pressure deals in there, because those become different coverages, right? If you have any man deals or any one rat deals, those become different coverages, right? So I think you start to find out real quick, I don't know if I can carry 10 base coverages, because by the time pressures and other situations get involved, I'm now at 16, 17 coverages. Okay, so my answer would be less is more. The less you can do, the better you are. But just make sure you have adjustments and variations that you can make, so that if you are getting beat by something, you don't have to sit in the same thing the entire game. Right? So changing how you play 2 to the flat versus 2 removed, that can be just one variation. So you can play it with inside leverage, then you can play it with outside leverage. That's your only adjustment maybe that you have. Right? Changing from a pattern match to a spot drop, so that now they are taking advantage of pattern match rules, so you go to some version of spot drop, right? It doesn't have to be 50 coverages. It doesn't have to be 1,000,000 components. But what you have to understand is everything you play has strengths and weaknesses, right? Don't know if that's proper English for weaknesses, but we'll go with it for right now. Right? So everything you play has strengths and weaknesses. So understand why you're playing it in this box, but then also understand what is going to beat you in this box. Right? And then take this box and figure out, from my base coverage deal, what variation can I carry to help me in that box? Okay? What variation can I play to help me in that box? Right? Now, a lot of guys in high school football across the country, you'll see a lot of teams that are basically man-menu teams. Right? It's a little bit simpler. Should be easy to line up. Right? Should have less confusion on what's going on. Okay? To me, though, my issue with some of those deals is as long as you have answers to things that are beating you, then I have no problem with the teams that play that way and line up that way. Because I know in camp, when you get into install, if you were playing versions of man, so if you played like one rat, let's say one rat was your base deal, and you taught one rat to every formation, everything else, you'll line up quicker, you'll handle motions better, you'll have easier adjustments. The pattern match stuff and some of those split field coverage rules and concepts, that's where funky formations, shifts, trades, motion, that takes a lot of work, and a lot of times guys don't want to invest that much time and effort into the work, or they just don't trust their players, so they get into the man menu. All right, well, if you're going to play the man menu, I think the other coverages you need to carry have to be things that answer. Right? So even if it's just a spot drop cover 3, that might be your changeup. Because if you come out and you're playing these deals, man free or zero, and they are running stuff that is beating you, you have to have an answer. Otherwise, you're not doing your kids justice, not carrying another answer. Well, we got to play the man better. We got to get to the quarterback. Okay, well, if they're hitting you with all kind of meshes and rubs and picks and rails, it's going to be hard to do. It's going to be hard to play better. If they're effective at what they're doing, if you don't have another answer, whatever it may be, usually the simplest answer would be some version of spot drop 2 deep or 3 deep, right? It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be pattern matched. But again, it's the same thing. This menu, at times, makes the coach feel a heck of a lot better about lining up. He feels a heck of a lot better about RPOs and different things. But, you know, can you support runs? All right, well, if it's dude on dude and they got to make plays, okay. But if they get it blocked up, do you have extra fitters? Can you get guys on the ground? Do you have answers if they're beating your stuff? And if so, then so be it. There's a ton of teams. When you watch big-time national games and you watch a lot of teams that win state titles, and there's a lot of teams that play a ton of man-to-man coverage, right? That is again, I'm not about selling a system. I'm not about what's best, what's not best. If that's your world that you live in and you win games doing it, by all means do it, okay? To me, though, when I think about it, when guys ask me questions, it's like, all right, well, if you're going to do that, what's your answer? If you're getting beat up with, formations and motions and picks and rubs and adjustments, you got to have an answer. Is it, a spot drop, middle of the field close deal? Is it a 2 deep deal? You got to have at least some type of answers, and if you do, then that's all you really need, right? So for them, how many coverages do you play? Well, maybe we play 3. We play some type of robber, 1 rat man deal. We play a 0 man deal, and we play some version of 4 under 3 deep, and we spot drop. Well, maybe those are their 3 coverages, right? So if you can play less coverages, I think the better off you are. But to me, the bigger question and answer is, of the coverages that you're choosing to play, do you have enough answers to help your kids out when those coverages based on leverage, pattern matches, whatever it is, when the offense has the ability to beat those coverages, do you have enough answers? I don't think you need 20 coverages. I don't think we need to get involved as college and the NFL is, but I think we need some simple answers to help our players out. Otherwise, we're doing a disservice to those players. At the end of the day, you can only play what they understand and can play. You can only play what your coaching staff can teach, right? So, I'm not saying that you should play 1 coverage. I'm not saying that you should play 22 coverages. Somewhere towards the one side is a little bit better to me. Have some answers, all right? Have answers that you can dole out to your kids and give to your kids, so that if you're getting hurt by spacing, hey guys, this is a better way we can play this, because if they're going to run all these spacing concepts, we have more underneath defenders, right? If you're getting whatever it is in 3x1, have answers to the trips, answers to the single. So I don't know if anybody can ever give you the straight answer to say, Coach, how many coverages should I carry on my install? I really don't know if that's a question that you can answer as an exact science with an exact answer every day. I think it's different at every program. My thing would be, play your base, have your adjustments to protect your kids in certain scenarios, and then as they get better and you get better, maybe you can add a wrinkle here or there, but don't get so caught up on the wrinkles that your base defense ends up being not taught the way you want it, because you're always concerned about the wrinkles, right? So if you're interested in the P2, all right, hack, there's a BOGO deal going on right now. Contact me or contact Dome, and you can follow Dome Hats on Twitter. You can email them. I think it's team@domehats.com. You can email them if you're interested. They got a great BOGO deal going on right now. Make sure you check out all of our other partners and all the great things that they're doing. I wouldn't partner with those guys if I didn't believe in those companies. So appreciate everything you guys do for Play Fast. Season's getting ready to start. We kick off Monday. Hopefully more of these videos coming with the good, the bad, the ugly, what we're doing, what we're trying to do, what's working, what other people are doing. As always, I'm going to keep it in our lane, and I'm going to keep it down to me, the whiteboard, what we do. Maybe I'll study a couple college games here or there, but there's other guys out there doing that stuff. That's not my lane. I'm going to stay in my lane. It's me, coaching, what I do, what we try to do, things that can help you, things that you do that might help me. Stay in our window, stay where we are, keep our niche, keep moving forward. Love everything you guys do for Play Fast. Have the utmost respect for all of you. Thanks for following along. Hit that subscribe button. Turn the notifications on. Every time we go on YouTube Live, I may be on YouTube Live tonight. So if you have your notifications on, you'll know every time we go on YouTube Live. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you like this video, if you think you've seen it before, if you think it's repeated information, if you think it doesn't fit what you do. It's your opinion. I'm glad you watched it. I'm glad you follow. I'm glad you subscribe. So you have the option to do that. So thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave a comment. I try to respond to every comment I can. Again, anytime, Sting8740, I know it's not up there right now, but Sting8740@gmail.com. If I have any information that I can get to you, any of the clinics or webinars we've done that I've sent to people, if you're interested in any of our partners, especially the P2 BOGO deal that's going out with Dome Hats right now, I can get you in contact with them. Hit me up. As always, I'm trying to help you guys. You guys help me. You support me, so I'll do anything I can for you guys. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. Thanks for watching. See you next time.